Did someone have a show this morning talking about conspiracy theories and say that CrossFit may not sell? Where did I hear that before? We're going to discuss now, live, Lunch with the Clydesdale.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me.
What's going on, everybody? It's Lunch with the Clydesdale. I don't know if you guys noticed, that's a new opening. Same pictures, different audio. I removed the beeps for Jody Lynn. Jody Lynn listens on audio in her headset. She's been complaining about the beeps at the beginning for a long time. I thought, let's do something fun. Let's change it up. Took out the beeps. What's going on? Traint Olive, Corey Leonard, Sean, Ken. What's going on? Sean, I cannot see what your emoji is. It is so small. I don't know what that is. What's up, Bruce? Plant Powered Fitness. Let's get it on, guys. So it's funny, like I tune in to Coffee Cup. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. Man, I'm getting old. The bottom of the bifocals there. So yeah. The conspiracy theory stuff. I tuned in to Savon this morning. Matt Souza and Caleb were running the show. They're talking about conspiracy theories in CrossFit, and all of a sudden they talk about the sale of CrossFit. Is it really happening or is it not? And I don't know where I've heard that before, but I think last Sunday night, a show did a segment called Fact or Fiction and said this. Fiction. There really is no sale of CrossFit. They've all been duping us.
It sort of seems that way at this point, huh?
I feel like we've been waiting for like 6 months at least from the sale talk. I was like, oh, is it going to be right after the Open? Is it going to be right before the games? No, it's going to be right after the. It's like, keep pushing it. I don't know.
You might be onto something here. Like maybe nothing's happening. Maybe they couldn't make anything work out.
Hear me out. Now, let's go full conspiracy theory. Because they said they're up for sale, we haven't been banging on them for all the stuff they do poorly.
Yeah.
And in that time, they've actually started to do stuff well.
Yeah.
Right? And actually start moving in the right direction with better marketing campaigns. It was a pretty good CrossFit Games this year. All the old merchandise back. Social media is back up and running and thriving again. The CrossFit podcast is up and running. And now they're like, hey, we've got it all rolling on the right track now. And we could actually maybe wait a couple of years and sell it for even more.
Yeah.
So that was said last week, last Sunday night, actually, on Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. And to be honest with you, I threw it in there as a thought of, we just haven't heard anything. And if I've ever made up anything in my life, it was that. It was just to get a talk about, they keep pushing and pushing. We're going to be sold. It's in this direction. It's going in this direction. And we haven't heard anything forever. And now I'm of the belief that maybe they've looked at the numbers, or maybe the people, they said it this morning on with Matt and Caleb. Maybe they looked at the numbers and said, ooh, maybe we don't want to be a part of this. Or maybe Brookshire saying, hey, maybe we went about this wrong. Now we're seeing we can actually make some difference in a trend and move the needle in the other direction and just wait to make more money. So it's an interesting concept. I don't know if there's a lot of validity to it. Maybe there is. But it just seems odd that we just can't seem to get any answers on where this is going. So, yeah, I'm anxious to see your thoughts. And here I thought you were on to something. I don't know. I don't know if I'm on anything or on to anything, Ken, but yeah, I don't know. Bruce Wayne, they're trying to make more money. That could be the possibility. I see Plant Powered Fitness agrees with you. If I wasn't part of the CrossFit community, why would anyone want to buy something with all the baggage it has? I think on the affiliate side, there isn't as much baggage as we think there is. For us geeks that are into the sports side and follow the sports all day long and all the drama around it, has made us not, we have clouded the look at the affiliate side of the house. And that's really where the money is on the affiliate education side of CrossFit. That's what people are buying it for, not for the sport. So, yeah, Aaron Fraser, it's in a place for growth, buy low, sell high. Yeah, but if they can't come to an agreement on the purchase price of low, maybe Brookshire's like, maybe we'll just try to figure this out moving forward rather than sell it off. So I think that there's a lot still on the table for all of this. Where did the rumors that it was even being sold even begin? Maybe CrossFit media have been chasing a wild goose the entire time. CrossFit came out and said it. Dawn Fall came out in a statement saying that CrossFit was up for sale, that they had hired a company to assist in the sale. So it's not a rumor. That was actually said by the CEO of CrossFit. If it doesn't sell right now, it's going to get really interesting on athletes and camps mayhem decisions. I actually thought about that this morning as well, Ken. Like, Rich has made these statements that if it doesn't sell to the right person with giving the right people a seat at the table, he was going to be out. What if it doesn't sell? He was posed with the question, what if Dave is put in the CEO position? And he said that they were still going to be out. So what happens now if they don't sell and everything remains the same? So I don't know. Bruce Wayne, I don't believe that. What part don't you believe? Yeah, so if nothing at all changes, Ken, I'm betting that Mayhem still makes the decision to not stay. So it'll be interesting, but maybe if they don't sell, maybe they do give someone from Mayhem's camp a seat at the table. Maybe they give someone from Proven's camp a seat at the table. Who knows? These camps and athletes making decisions based on sell or no sell. If you don't believe that, let me pose this to you. What about CrossFit right now in the way it's designed makes you as a camp or an affiliate want to stay? If it's anything other than loyalty, I don't know what it would be. Now, things have picked up. Marketing has gotten better. They're making a push to push people into the affiliates. That has changed, but that's only been like in 4 months. Like, that's going to have to go out a little bit longer for me to buy in, if I'm an affiliate owner, that you're going to continue on with this path. You're going to have to prove to me, after years of us banging on the drum since the media team was released, and there hasn't been media released about going to the affiliates, that leaves the only thing left for the affiliate is a sense of loyalty to CrossFit HQ. So I think that, and on the athlete camp side, they can still compete in CrossFit and not be, and even Rich said they would probably remain an affiliate kind of secretly, take down CrossFit from all the signage, but remain an affiliate so that their athletes could do the workouts at the gym. But when you have someone like Mayhem that has so much media out there, it's a huge mistake to lose them as a recognized CrossFit affiliate. I agree, Larry. It's only been loyalty for a long time. I don't think CrossFit HQ has provided the affiliates much in the last few years. Probably the last 7 years. And because of that, it is just loyalty to what that methodology is that has affiliates still there. For sure. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I had high hopes for the sale. I was hoping that maybe it would go back to an independently owned company where it would get back to kind of its grassroots beginnings, because I think that is how it works the best. Gym members, not just affiliates, have loyalty too. I agree. But gym members have a loyalty to their gym. Most people in the gym setting do not know what's going on at CrossFit HQ. I've been the member of 2 different gyms. I would say more than 50% of the members have no clue what's going on at HQ or the sport or any of that stuff. And they have a loyalty to that box community and its coach. And I do think that does mean something. Ken puts the number at 90%. One of my gyms was owned by Christy Aramo O'Connell. So I would say that one was at 50%, only because there are pictures on the wall of her at the games. And it just, because your owner is a CrossFit athlete, it made things different. But their loyalty is to that gym, not to some entity in Santa Cruz, California, or Denver, Colorado, or whatever it is. Larry Young, I think he's saying, if it was reasonable to affiliate his garage, he would do it like the old days. I think that, that's been talked about on Dave's Week in Review a lot, about making a garage affiliation price point that was more affordable. And I hope they do it, because I do think that a lot of people will affiliate their garage for sure. Arlene Smith, I agree with you, Scott. No one has a clue. Right. It's just us geeks that listen to podcasts all day and do podcasts that follow all this stuff and talk about it nonstop. And we are really a subset of a small group of people. So with that being said, let's move on to some other stuff. It's Friday. I am ready to detox for at least 24 hours from all the CrossFit stuff, but we're going to wrap it up, what happened this week, and then we'll move on and we'll start fresh with a new week next week. I wanted to thank Chris Biesterfeld. I was on his podcast yesterday. I had a great time. So easy to talk to. So much fun to just sit back and chat with him and not have to come up with an agenda and just let him run the show. It was really cool to just kind of sit back and relax and just talk about life and remember how it all began and kind of things like that. So I want to thank Chris Biesterfeld for that. Ken, we have had Tia Matt, Dan Bailey, and a Loud and Live crew work out at our box when Granite Games were in Minneapolis, and most members were like, who are they? Then the few groupies like me grab pictures. Yeah. So yeah, thank you to Chris Biesterfeld for all that. If you want to have a really just fun 15 minutes and you just need a break from your day, you need to go watch the first 15 minutes of the Glinton Things podcast with Alli Shiver. I could not stop laughing for 15 minutes. It is her telling the story of her husband getting scammed, and I could not stop laughing. If you need a break from your day, 15 minutes. It's all it takes. First 15 minutes of Glinton Things with Alli Shiver, and you need to laugh, go do that. I highly recommend it. Probably the best 15 minutes of my day yesterday. Just so funny. So funny. I also watched the Liz Wishart video yesterday that Hiller put out. I love those stories where people have to work for a living and chase a dream. And there are so many idiosyncrasies with Liz and how she does things. They have a ton of footage of her and her boyfriend. She built a van herself just using YouTube to be a camper van, wired it up, did all the work herself. And I loved how they brought in this like really hard test that Indiana provides for their firefighters, and how very few people make it through this week-long test. And then you're considered a smoke diver if you get through it. And Liz was the first female to complete that test. And he intertwines that and footage from some people talking about that test all the way through the video. It's awesome. Awesome. So it was just, I love storytelling. I was talking to Chris about this, not on the podcast, but kind of when we were off the air, is, you know, what I love about this and what we do is the storytelling aspect of it. And I just love hearing people's stories and hearing where they came from, why they do what they do. Just, that's really what makes my day. And I thought Hiller did a great job of storytelling in that video yesterday. Yeah, Jody, I'm with you. The people that have to work all like a 40-hour week, or firefighting, or police officer, and then chase their dream to the CrossFit Games is it's really inspiring. It's one thing to see someone work out, 40 hours a week, and that's their job, but then to see someone actually being a firefighter. And she talked about how she did this smoke diver test, and it went from like Sunday to Friday, and then did the quarterfinals that year. And because that, she was so exhausted, and she only finished 70th and didn't get to go on to semis. But that is super impressive that she was even able to do it. It's crazy. That's the main difference between a professional and an amateur. The latter still needs another job. I know everybody's obsessed with this definition of professional. I don't care. Anybody who wants to call themselves a professional and they get even $1 for what they do, call yourself a professional. It's no skin off my back. And I know it's been debated on other shows, like what is a professional? Are CrossFitters a professional? I just don't care. I don't care. Call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. I love watching the sport. It's what whatever it is, it is. She also did the smoke diver because people said she couldn't do it. There's a lot of people like that. I love people like that. Tell me I can't and hold my beer. Power 5 college athletes go through this all the time. I agree. Corey, you're oversimplifying what I said. I said, call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. If you won $50 and you think you're a pro now, call yourself a pro. And it's no skin off my back. It doesn't change how my day goes. That's all I'm saying. I don't care. I don't care. Now, if you think that you shouldn't call yourself that, I don't care about that either. Just call yourself the Cajun Cowboy. Don't care. That's all. So that kind of brings me to one of the other things I wanted to talk about. And I wanted to talk about it yesterday, but when I talk with Corey, I get a little heated sometimes and I forget some of the details I wanted to talk about. And it goes back to the Pat Vellner thing with coffee pods and wads. And it is like he said something about people bashing the athletes for going after the money. And what I hated about that was nobody ever said anything about the athletes going after the money and how they shouldn't. In fact, I think everybody that I've listened to said, if I'm offered that money to go do what I love, I'm taking the money. If someone came to me, a startup came to me and said, hey, we're starting a podcast channel and we are going to offer you $30,000 to come, hell, see you later. I'm going to take the 30 grand and we'll try to figure this out. So I don't have any problems with them taking the money, even if it was done in a way that offered exclusivity. It'd be a very tough thing to turn down, guaranteed money. Unless you're the best of the best and you're Tia and you know that you can win 300 grand at the CrossFit Games, having guaranteed money is a very big incentive for anybody, no matter what they do, whether they're a machinist, a podcaster, or an athlete. When you're offered, many times in life, people are offered more money to leave the one company and go to another company, and they do it all day long. What's the difference between that and an athlete being offered more money than they've made ever before, and they decide to go do that? Now, is it sustainable? I don't know, but it may be worth the shot if you're getting guaranteed money. So, David Reed, Sevon said it best. The community is talking about the situation and Pat is in another room yelling about something else. I just don't like, I know I never dogged an athlete for going for the money because I would do the same thing. If I was offered that money to do what I love, I would take the money in a heartbeat. I have worked at companies where another company has come in and offered me more money, and I've had to make that decision. Is it worth me going for the more money to do this over here or to stay here? It happens all day long for many people in this country. And I would never, ever criticize someone for going after a better way to support their family, ever. So, again, Exactly, Traint Olive. Show me the money. Aster Serve, you sure didn't, but the whole Savon sphere was going ape shit for the last 8 months. I think that I listen to a lot of the Savon sphere that you call. I think there have been criticisms about how the WFP has gone about business, but I personally have not heard anybody criticize an athlete for taking the money. So I will defend them on that front for sure. And I have been critical about how the WFP have conducted business in ways. I try to always offer constructive fit criticism and offer a solution as to what I think the other side should be. And so I've never, ever heard them criticize the athletes for taking the money. Aster Serve, slander, libel, name calling, the whole menu up and down. I'm sorry, I cannot get on board with your comments here. I try to give everybody a voice, but I've never heard them go after the athletes just generally for going after money. The WFP for making promises they haven't kept or making statements that we have found out later not to be true. I think those have been said. So all right. So anyway, I just wanted to address that. I'm trying to just clean up the week. I'm really, really dying for some action on the floor, man. I'm dying for Crash to get here. I saw they've added Chris Ibarra to the lineup. I'm jonesing for some fitness to watch. And so I'm really, really excited for that to come. I can't wait till that comes and we get to watch some actual sports action with this. So the only thing that I am reluctant about the Crash Crucible is the P-score comments. I hate talking P-score. I'm not a big fan of P-score, but I know that once Crash kicks off, that's going to be half of the discussion with Crash. But I guess I'll have to endure that to be able to watch some really cool programmed events done by some really fit people. And I'm super excited for that. Andrew Sten, MFC next weekend. That really crept up on me, dude. I did not realize it was coming next weekend. Do you know that if they are streaming that at all? I know they have sort of in the past. Do you know if they're streaming it this year at all? Or am I going to have to drive up there next weekend and check some of it out? The nice thing about MFC, it's only about 2.5 hours from my house. So I could get there in a drive and back. Yes, there will be a stream. Whoop. 8 events, 9 scores. Dang. Also, TFX qualifier 26.6 this morning was rough. Can I just say something? TFX is a really cool event. The old school TFX outside of Austin, like way outside of Austin, which I learned when I drove down there or got down there. Can we stop numbering the qualifiers? and the event numbers, that is reserved for the open and the CrossFit season. Everybody else that's doing it just confuses the numbers in my head. I'm a simple man. I don't know if I can't handle it all, but damn, like 24.3 or 22.3, those are reserved for like the CrossFit game season, which is how I understand it. And now like everybody else is adopting, I know Legends for the CrossFit Games Masters group name things point whatever, 25.1 through 8 or whatever the events were for the games. Can't handle it. That's got to be reserved for the open season because I just can't handle it with other stuff. Tristan, nobody is creative enough to name the workouts. Yes. Train Olive, I agree. Thank you. Good gravy. Ken Walters, they adjusted one thing with P-score this year at Crash, not taking it to negative scores, just to 0. I understood Tyler on spin last week. So they did that 2 years ago with the scoring. They did not go to negative. Then last year they capped the negative, and this year they're not doing the negative at all. Okay, so again, those are things that this has been my complaint about the WFP. Whenever you complicate things like this for people who don't watch sports or don't do statistics, it just gets over complicated and they shut down. When you're doing P scoring, the explanation has to be simplified so people understand. And talking about negative points and talking about all of those variables makes it so cloudy. I worked as a statistician for 4 years in the state of Florida. And when Tyler gets into the weeds, like I'm kind of glazing over. Yeah, I don't think they don't need to name the qualifiers, Corey. I just name it like Qualifier 1, Qualifier 2. Wadapalooza Qualifier 1, TFX Qualifier 3. So, and Tristan volunteers to write a name for every qualifier because he does that for all of his programming. Lido, to be fair, they were quite fast last year with announcing the scores, and I don't feel like P-score is that complicated if they explain it simply. I don't disagree with you. They were quick with the scoring, but on the shows after when we talked about it, there were a lot of questions as to why this or why that. So, I don't know. Frida, isn't P-score for the specialists? That would be the opposite of CrossFit. So like here, now this is the stuff we have to explain. So P-score, if you're a specialist, will favor your score for an event. So the best example is someone like Danny Spiegel. If there's a heavy lift, she is going to get mega points and a big difference between first and second because her lift is much greater than somebody else's. Or look at Guy. Guy can clean whatever it is. I don't know, 400, whatever. And the next person is at 350. He gets a big gap. But then you put a run in and it flips the table the exact opposite. So when you flip the exact opposite, then someone that's really good at running is going to get that big score. and Danny and Guy are going to get negative points or cap at 0, whatever they decide to do. And so they lose all that advantage they got on the one event by being really terrible at the next event. So it doesn't really favor the specialist. It only favors them in one event. It's really best for that overall fit athlete to kind of keep everything above the median or the mid-range score. You want to be, because it takes the middle score, and then everything above it gets positive. Like, the best way to look at everything above it gets positive, everything gets negative, but it's not that way. Just the ones below that get like really bad scores, and the ones above it get really good scores. So, and Jody Lynn, all I hear is Peace Corps. Yeah. Can you imagine being a baseball announcer or a sportscaster this morning and having to say the last name Schlittler over and over again and not screw that up on FCC run TV? Cam Schlittler. All morning I thought that was something different. Lido, I get that, but all we need to know is if you beat the field by a lot, you get a lot more points. Period. We don't need the specific math. I know, but people want to dive into it, and then we as podcast people have to talk about it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I need to see it in a bigger field. It's really hard to judge at just one event a year to see how it really plays out. And the Kmart I just shipped my pants commercial. Yep. Yeah. Corey brought up Cam Scattaboo. Yeah, there's a lot of fun names out there, but Schlittler's a tough one. It's a tough one. So, all right. Going to see the new baby this weekend. Going over Sunday to see my nephew and the new baby Olive, who was born last week. Super excited about that. What else are we going to talk about? I did watch a little bit of the girls last night. I actually watched the whole thing. They were talking about going to Hyrox Boston, and that how many people were there, and that they'd never seen that in a CrossFit event. And I was like, well, duh. You have people coming in doing one event that takes like 60 to 90 minutes. And so you can kind of move them through the process of that pretty quickly. And then a CrossFit event, you have people coming in for whatever you schedule that event for, 1, 2, 3 days, and they're doing multiple events. You don't have the space or the time for like a ton of athletes like that. And so I just found that like weird. Like we have a 5-miler that goes around the Ohio State. It starts at the stadium, ends on the field at the stadium, and they get like 15,000 people through that. It's because it's one event, one thing that happens, and you just kind of cycle people through it. Where CrossFit, it's very, very different. It's a different style. So I didn't understand what they were comparing it to. It didn't make any damn sense to me at all. Dense Jenny says they gas up anything that isn't CrossFit game season. That's they shtick. Yeah, I know. I noticed they have been talking CrossFit more in the last couple weeks, and they actually talked up Crash, which was pretty surprising to me. The lower bar of entry, the more participants you get. Exactly. Shanna, Hyrox is a well-oiled machine, churning 5,000 athletes through a weekend. Nice money maker, to be honest. It is. And I would say the same about any 5K, 5-miler, even like the Columbus Marathon, thousands and thousands of people through that. But it's just an easier format to do that with. So. All right. They also said Kyra isn't good at rope climbs, so they definitely have no clue what they're saying, just talking to talk. Yeah. Ken Walters, people committed 3 to 5 straight weeks at hundreds of thousands. The numbers were hundreds of thousands is more impressive. Yeah, but that's multiple locations. We got to be fair about the assessment of everything. Where Hyrox is one event, one location, and they're churning people through. I don't hate on Hyrox. I don't think their reps are always good, but the people that do it well, it is what it is. It's not ever going to be something for me. I don't want to go run that much. But it's interesting. I don't know what its sustainability is doing the same workout over and over and over again. But more power to them. Crank the people through. It's a fun event to go to, I'm sure, for people. But just like I wouldn't do a marathon, and there are thousands of people that do that, doesn't mean I hate on marathons being run. It's not something I want to do personally. That's all. Let's be fair, Trent Olive. She says it's because they don't see they have to do full reps at Hyrox. There are people at Hyrox that do full reps. There's just, you can find people that don't do full reps. Just like I would argue, you could go into any CrossFit gym. Well, not any. You could go into some CrossFit gyms around this country and see some really piss poor reps. So. I agree, Jenny. Hyrox is a CrossFit workout. It is. Just not the one that I want to do. Hyrox is like Ironman. You train for the exact same race, the same exact race over and over. It's not taking over the CrossFit Space. Never. Yeah. Tristan Patrick, there's no gym where every person moves to the standard, even if you harp on them constantly. I would agree. Sean in Oregon, I did Karen today, and 15 reps in, the wall ball hit my face. So that's how my day started. Oh, I hate that. There's nothing worse than missing the catch and that hitting you in the face. When I first started, we only had X number of the soft medicine balls, and then we had some really hard, I don't even know what they were, but like occasionally you get stuck with it, and it didn't like give at all. And man, one time I missed and it just bopped me right in the nose, blood everywhere. Oh, it was horrible. Horrible. Jenny, Tristan is correct. We harp hard at our gym and fools still get it wrong. Yeah. Both gyms I've been a part of were very, very much standard holders of everyone. And you can yell at them all you want, and still some of them are not going to hit depth. Some of them are still not going to hit the front of the wall ball target, and so on and so forth. So, but, and that's, it is what it is. Is a conversation about Hyrox Hamburg that is about to start. Elite men are at the start line. 8K watching just popped in. No, it was not about that, but thank you for the update. I know there is some Hyrox going on. This was about some comments made about Hyrox Boston. If they can't hit depth, we aren't encouraging them to do a comp or Hyrox. Amen. It's the whole MCI, right? Mechanics first, consistency second, then intensity. If you can't get either the M or the C, you shouldn't be doing the I. And the I means comps. So, I mean, that's basic L1 stuff right there. So, yeah, I'm in agreement with all of that. I don't know what anybody else's plans are this weekend. None of my teams. I mean, Penn State plays tomorrow at UCLA. Probably watch a little bit of that. But my Bears are off this weekend. My wife's Steelers are off this weekend. So we're going to go see the baby. And then I'm going to watch Superman finally. I've been dying to see that movie. And I just watched an interview with Charlie Sheen. And now I'm really interested to see his documentary on Netflix. So I think I'm going to check that out. Charlie Sheen was a big part of my childhood, I guess. And to see him in this interview be pretty healthy was really refreshing to see, because watching the dumpster fire happen in his life over my life was really tough to see. And so I'm anxious to see where he is today. And I'm excited to see that. He was on Rich Eisen this week, and he was funny again. He was telling stories. He was telling stories about Rob Lowe, because they kind of grew up together. And that whole Brat Pack group. I'm really, really, really excited. And now I really want to dive into that for sure. But I'm going to watch Superman. And then I saw The Naked Gun came out on Peacock or Paramount, one of those. And I loved Airplane. Airplane was one of my favorite movies of all time. Naked Guns I liked, but didn't love like Airplane. But I want to see how either A, they pay homage to all those types of movies, or B, the dumpster fire that they have made it after all these years, with Liam Neeson playing the buffoon for a change. So I'm interested in seeing that. So we'll go ahead and see what's going on this week. 2.5 Men is a mirror of his real life. It's crazy. Okay. Joseph Ramirez, Charlie Sheen lets a lot out of the bag. That's going to be crazy. He talked about on this interview, he used to collect baseballs. And I think he tried to get either McGuire's home run ball or Sosa's home run ball back when I was younger. And he talked about, he went to a game with Cecil Fielder. He wanted a Cecil Fielder home run ball, and he bought out the right field seats, like all of them, so that if there was a home run hit into right field, he would have the whole right field seats to get that ball. And Cecil Fielder went 0 for 4 that night. Crazy. What do you think about that, Ken Walters? Is that worth the investment? He said he paid, I think it was like $8,000 for the entire right field seats. He said if he tried to do that today for like Shohei Ohtani or something, it'd be like 25-30 grand. That was in the interview we did with Rich Eisen. Ken, I don't know if it's in the documentary. I have not even started the documentary yet. But one, to have that much money that you want to just catch a home run ball, and so you just buy out the bleachers. I can't even imagine having that kind of money to even follow through with that. And then the reasoning behind it, like, what the man? So anyway, all of those stories have led me to want to see his documentary on Netflix. And I guess the second episode's out now. So hopefully I can binge through those two. Not for a fielder home run ball, but definitely a Sosa home run ball. It would be. If he tried to do that at the Nat Stadium, he could buy out the entire stadium for $500. They suck. Yeah. Anyway, well, on that note, we're going to go ahead and leave with that. I am going to change up some things with the show. Occasionally, I'm going to bring somebody on from the CrossFit world to have lunch with me and just hang out. It's not going to be an interview. It's just going to be like a hangout, talk about the stuff around the space. That's my vision for that. So again, we're going to start with Josh Hicks on Tuesday, who has been the lead medical person for CrossFit for many, many years. He was also hired by WFP. He actually works for both right now. And he's putting together detailed safety plans for people in different competitions around the world. And he's also trying to train other people to do what he does so that there are other people that can do what he's been doing over the past few years. With that, check that out on Tuesday. But until then, we have Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. Carolyn, Jamie, myself, hanging out Sunday night. We'll break down all the news that is for the week. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys. It really helps the algorithm. If you could just hit that subscribe button, maybe hit the notifier so you know when things are coming out. And if you want to support the show, you can hit that join button to become a member for as low as $2.99 a month. With that, you knuckleheads get back to work. I need to get back to work. We'll see everybody next time on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.